pitch. This is Rachel Weinstein. Her business is called Mix-a-Lot. It's software to connect people at live events. Rachel.
Yay. Thank you. So, my name's Rachel. I'm the founder of Mix-a-Lot. Thank you so much.
Keep it down, guys.
So we can hear it. Thank you so much for the opportunity to tell you about my business. So I'm going to start out introducing you to Mix-a-Lot by taking you back to 2014 to my dating life. So I was single and I was looking for someone to date, and what I learned is that while there are a lot of speed dating events for straight people, there wasn't really that much out there for the queer women's community. And so because I wanted those events for myself, I decided to create a business to hold those events. So I started a business called Lady Luck, and last year in 2015 we held about 15 events for queer women in Southern California. They were a great success. All of them, our last event sold out with 80 women. But what I learned from doing it is that running a speed dating event is really time-consuming and challenging, because you have to worry about how people are going to meet each other at the event. You have to take down everyone's preferences for who they liked, who they want to date or be friends with, and then you have to let people know the results, who they matched with after the event. It takes a lot of time. So as a computer scientist, I thought, a computer could do a lot of this. And so I built a program to try to automate a lot of the work that's involved in running a speed dating event. And that software became what's now the patent-pending Mix-a-Lot product. So what the software does is that when you buy a ticket, you can enter some preferences. So like for a lesbian speed dating, you could say the age range that you're interested in dating, how masculine or feminine, if you have a preference, things like that. When you come to the event, the computer program is taking everyone's preferences and figuring out who's going to pair well together. And then through your cell phone, you're notified of who you're going to meet. So for example, go to table 5 to meet Sarah, something like that. After you've met people, through your phone, you give some feedback about, are you interested in making friends, having a date in the future? And then after the event, the organizer can press a button to send out the results to everybody via email. And during the event, the organizer has a dashboard so she can see what's happening where everybody's sitting and control the flow of the event. So while I built this for Lady Luck to make my life easier, what I realized is that it's actually applicable to a lot of situations. So for example, it can help job applicants connect with employers at job fairs. And there's over 16,000 large businesses with 500 or more employees in the US. It can help with business networking events and alumni mixers, and there's over 5,000 colleges and universities in the US. It can help with trade shows and conferences and conventions, like the Lesbians Who Tech Convention. There's over 280,000 events like that in the US every year. And of course it can also help with straight and gay men's singles events as well. There's over 100 million unmarried adults in the US. So one of the key things is that the event settings can be tailored based on what kind of event it is. So the preferences can be changed by the event host depending on the type of event. So if it's a business networking event, the preferences can be what industries do you work in and what industries are you interested in meeting? Or if it's a job fair, it can be what are your qualifications and then what qualifications are the companies looking for. So our profit model is based on ticket sales and licensing. So with Lady Luck, we're already running a profitable business. Tickets cost $25 to $35 per person. We're planning to expand nationally. So we're holding our first events in New York City in the fall. And we're also planning to branch into straight and gay men's dating events. Then we also plan to license the software to large events like conferences and job fairs and alumni mixers. Currently, nobody that I'm aware of is doing what Mix-a-Lot is doing, which is using technology to on the spot match you to people and guide you together to meet each other in person. So you have OkCupid and Tinder, which take your preferences and they match you, but it's all online, and then you have to go out and figure out how to actually meet those people. What we're doing is when you're in a room full of 1,000 people, how do you meet the 10 people that you're most interested in meeting? So, in conclusion,
it's all good, girl.
Okay.
You're fine.
In conclusion,
In closing,
we are all about building connections, and by helping Mix-a-Lot, as Mix-a-Lot grows, we will be building the lesbian community internationally. Wow, I spoke fast. We'll be building the community internationally, both for the queer women's community, but also for everyone's community, business, friends, and others. Thank you.
All right, judges.
If you have you need the app to connect with everybody. So
Yes.
you go a meeting, an event, everybody has the app? How?
So currently, we are actually using text messaging to communicate, and we send links. So you click on it, and it pulls up a web browser. So it's platform independent. It works on all phones. You just need a texting and web browsing capability on your phone.
And it could be a global solution. You could take this anywhere.
Yes.
And is the patent for the technology, for the IP, as well as the algorithm, or is that separated?
The patent is for the concept of matching people in a physical space.
And the licensing, talk about the monetization of that, or what the cost looks like.
The cost.
Like, what is your licensing fee?
Sure. Well, we're still deciding, but it could be either per participant or it could be per event. So I think it would depend on negotiation with the customers.
Judges, you done?
Any other questions from the
All right,
judges?
audience questions.
Is there a patent on this?
I've filed a patent application.
What's the
Where
status?
is it?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
What have you filed a patent? That's the question.
I have filed and it's pending.
Okay. Who?
You mentioned Tinder and one other OkCupid. But what about Grindr? Have you considered Grindr's business model where they care a lot about physical location?
So it's still a little different because what Grindr is doing is saying, okay, I'm here, who's around me? But what we're actually doing is running live networking events where you've already decided that you're here physically in a room, you're willing to meet these other people. We're going to literally tell you, go to table 10. So it's sort of a different, it's almost like Grindr but in a room.
Next question.
Hey, actually, we met our best friend, one of your events, so that's very good. Yeah. And you also mentioned like 10 most of the girls you want to meet or something. So I was just wondering, any algorithm you guys kind of like building it? So, for example, like based on what their interest or based on what's their background, to know them better, so you can fit into different kind of like events or activity to fit into them. So they'll be more interested. Oh, I want to go that way. I'll go this one. Oh, maybe this one seems boring to me. I want to go this one. Is there any kind of events like that or any algorithm you guys are building on to better fit for the audience?
Can I repeat that question? What you basically said, what your question is? What she's saying is like the filtering through like dating websites. Like you know how you can ask a bunch of different questions. OkCupid preferences. She's talking about the filterization. How
Like the algorithm, yeah.
how detailed is the algorithm? Because obviously, like I've been on OkCupid before and I'm lazy and I ask 2 questions. So I have nothing in common with anybody. But that doesn't mean I'm like a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like, there's some checks and balances. So anyway, she's asking about the detail of the algorithm and the preferences.
So the preferences are flexible, which means that people, if for example a church wants to run an event or a dodgeball league wants to do a speed dating, you want to date a defensive or offensive, the organizer can control those settings. So you can create your own questions. And I'm interested in X, Y, and Z, and does the person have X, Y, and Z? So we're designing it to be flexible so that more people can use it.
Do you guys keep that data in your database so later you guys can fit them better?
We do keep the data in our database, yes.
So we have one final question.
Yeah.
Wait, who's raising their hand?
I couldn't hear. What's the technology behind this? So is it an app? Or you said it's web-based?
What's the technology?
So it's crowdsourcing, yeah?
No.
You're using crowdsourcing?
So you're using platform
application,
agnostic,
so you could be anywhere?
No,
You
we're
can
not.
open an app and you're sniffing, or?
No.
So the question is that what is the technology back end to power this algorithm?
This is written in Python. It's running on Google App Engine, and there's a web platform for the event organizer. I can show anyone who wants to see on my laptop what it looks like. But there's a dashboard that's web-based that the organizer uses to run the event, and then we communicate with people. Currently, it's via SMS, so you get.
So it's SMS based?
It's SMS, but you click on a link that comes through your SMS, which pulls up a browser window, so it looks like an app, because you're seeing an HTML page. And we will be developing an app eventually.
All right, so we'll have one final question, and then all of the pitchers, please go into the room in there, and then the judges, let's just...
Actually, the other way around.
Judges in the room, and the pitch people just have a beer. Basically, that's it.
One more question.
So one final question.
Oh, two, actually, we have two. It's okay.
Two final questions.
How
Yeah.
do you obtain the data from the participants?
When people purchase their tickets, the questions are there on the Eventbrite screen, and that data gets transferred into our database.
So there's a presumption that the person is going to complete the data.
They have to in order to buy their ticket. Yeah.
So it's required in the form to fill out, to submit their preferences. last question.
There are two questions.
Two questions.
Yes.
So I'm trying to understand the business model. So let's say I'm going to have an event, and I really want people at this event to connect. And so this is the way I'm sort of envisioning this. Let's say I go to your website and I license this for my event. So I sign up, I pay you a fee based on maybe the amount of people that are going to be at the event. And then based on me signing up, I now can then have people match up. Like let's say all these people in this room right now.
You have
Right?
to come to
How
the
would
event.
that work?
You have to come physically to the event. So it's a ticket for an actual in-person event. Like on July 10th, we're going to meet at this bar. So you purchase your ticket and you fill out your preferences. But you don't meet people until you arrive in person.
But what I'm saying is, let's say I'm going to have an event.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
let's say this was an event that I organized.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, and I was like, oh, at my event, I really want people to connect. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to sign up for your service.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pay you some fee
Yeah.
based on what? Like the amount of people I'm going to at my event. And then what? I'm going to download this and then I can then say, hey, all you guys here, like right now I'm trying to connect with CTOs, people that, right? And this would automatically do that for me. I mean, it's sort of sounding like it could, but I'm not quite visualizing how it.
Well, you're basically saying this to back you up. You're basically throwing out about 50 plus variables, which is you have to like have a baseline of variables to have.
No, I think I understand your question.
right?
So what would happen is you would license the software. We would give you a login. You would log into our website and it would bring up your dashboard that shows you everyone who's registered for your event.
Right.
When the day the event comes, somebody has to check people in. This one's present, this one's absent.
Right.
When they're checked in, we've got their cell phone in there, we've got their email. The program, you hit the play button and people start getting text messages. You say, how long do you
Right.
want the duration of rounds? Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Right.
You hit the play button, people get a text message. Go to table 1, go to table
Yeah.
20. So it runs itself, like literally you hit the play
And
button
let's
and
say
it
I
runs.
pay you by the head, right?
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
100 people are going to be there, I would pay you $250 a person or whatever, maybe whatever. That makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, one last question.
I just wanted to ask you, so how do you check how well your matching software works?
It's a great question. I guess let's just say we're going to have to get a lot bigger before we can invest in, because it's difficult to get responses from people other than, well, actually that's not true now that you mention it. So because we are asking people afterwards, how did you like the person you met? Currently we say like, is it a friend or is it a date? But we could do a scale of 1 to 5. We could do anything we wanted in order for how well did you like that match? And then we can, if we want, feed that back into the algorithm, either to change who you meet next, or simply to analyze it and try to learn from it. So as far as following up with people after the event, in my experience, it's pretty time-consuming and challenging to do, and it's not as much of a value proposition financially, so we haven't really invested much in that, but if we were big enough, we could do that too.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
So guys, I wanted to say, well, first of all, thanks to the judges and the cool pitchers, like pitch. I keep saying pitchers.
Please, yeah.
I'm like that softball person, I guess. Anyway, Anna, and well, the first person was Kataka. The second person was Anna, and the last person we just heard was Rachel. So the judges did everything else. So now, guys, it's a party. It's the Latina Cosmetera, but I know Monica.
Just a quick announcement, guys.
Sure.
Okay, so I have someone looking for a CTO. So people who know how to code. I'm looking for. We're looking for people who are engineers and people. Yeah. Anybody who's an engineer who knows of engineers, please. Apps. Great question. Apps. And graphic designers, please see me. So, we do these events and we do these activities, but it's about networking. It's about connecting each other so we can actually scale our startups. Great.
And so my name on